Hey, Weekly Walk viewers, happy Thursday. I am here with Asvhin Vaidyanathan, Chief Customer Officer at Gainsight. Did I pronounce the last name right?
You nailed it. That was
Oh,
pretty awesome.
perfect. That was a high pressure situation for me right there. So I'm glad it's a breeze. It's a breeze after this. So we are here in sunny San Francisco right now, just perusing over the Bay Bridge. And I'm glad we're doing this. I feel like I did one with Carl, your fellow CIO. So now I've got you on film. So we'll see how you do in comparison to him. No, I'm just kidding. You're an external facing role. You're going to be great. You got no problems, Ez. All right. So you joined Gainsight as Senior Director of CS in 2015 and are now Chief Customer Officer there. So you have spent a lot of time in the world of CS. So in kind of that, the 5 years that you've been at Gainsight, certainly, and in your other roles in your career, but what trends have you seen changed in CS, and sort of what have you seen stay the same?
Yeah, great question. And firstly, thank you for having me on this
Of
walk.
course.
I love the walk.
I'm like, we're rocking, sort of.
Exactly. And yes, I think a couple of things personally for me at Gainsight. One was I've been super lucky to be at the right place, right time when opportunities opened up. And part two is I have always said yes to trying out new things, which is partly what has helped me grow at Gainsight and in my career as well. So if anyone else newer to their careers are listening, those two things have definitely helped me in my journey at Gainsight and pre-Gainsight. And then back to your question about big trends. I think a big trend in customer success that is definitely a couple of trends that have definitely changed over the last few years. The first, I want to say about 5 years or so, the idea of customer success was CS meant let's make sure that we are responding to support questions or when companies, especially enterprise software companies and users have questions, we answer those in as consistent a way as possible in the organization.
Okay.
Over the last, then the next evolution, call it over the last 4 years or so, has been to then say it's not just enough to be consistent, it's important to be proactive. So can we see usage and adoption metrics to then proactively ping customers and say, customers like you or companies like you should be doing X, Y, and Z, and you're not doing it, so let's work together on it. So it was more adoption and usage focused rather than evolution. Then over the last couple of years, the evolution next became this term called outcomes, which is just because you're adopting a product doesn't mean you're getting value and outcomes from it. Adoption is a means to an end, and the end is outcomes. So am I helping you save money, save time, or helping you make money at the end of the day? Otherwise, you don't have a need to use my product or service, right? So that's where things have gone over the last couple of years. And I think in the last 6 months to a year, call it 2020, the big focus is not just outcomes as a point in time, but outcomes across the maturity of a customer. So there's no one outcome. There is you evolve your outcomes through the journey with your partner or vendor. And so maturity and stickiness is the next frontier that CS teams are focused on as a big area. So that evolution from support to maturity is a big change that I've seen in CS over the last few years. And I'll say a second big trend I would say that has happened is just like sales and marketing collaborated, call it 2 decades back or so, to say, I'm going to help you, you're going to help me, and together we're going to help sell more. The new power couple in the industry that we're seeing is CS and product. And so CS plus product shaking hands and saying, how can we help unlock more growth, unlock more retention, unlock more advocacy, etc. And so that's the new power couple that we are seeing in the industry. So that's another change.
I'm like, phew, I hope you didn't go too far into that. That's my next question. I couldn't have you answer it before I asked. that was actually what I was going to say. So, you had said sales and marketing, and then, we talk a lot, or even you just hear a lot of talk about CS and sales and how do they work together. And, last time you and I had spoke, you had said, this whole collaboration between CS and product, which not as many people talk about, but when you think about it, of course, that makes sense because you need to build a product that the customers, your existing customers want to, you want to upsell them on. So what, in your opinion, sort of should that relationship look like, or what does that relationship, look like at Gainsight, for example?
Yeah, it's a again, like I'm a huge believer in that relationship, and like it's bi-directional, like all good relationships should be. The value for the a product team from the customer success team is the product managers and the engineers create products so that they can be better adopted. Like that's the end goal, right?
Yep.
And they make more money, etc., for the company, and they deliver outcomes. And so what CS teams can help and say, this is working really well, this is not working well. So as you think about the evolution of the product roadmap, take all of these insights into your mix and make this better data-driven decisions as you think about the roadmap. I think that is very meaningful for the product team to drive better roadmap and better customer-driven roadmap. And what is in it for the customer success team is the richer usage data and telemetry data they can get, the more creative and nuanced outcomes that they can drive with customers. If they know that the desired click path is to go from here to X to Y to Z pages, then they can start saying, okay, only 30% of our customers are actually following that path. What do we need to do to drive the remaining 70% to make that happen? They can then drive better in-app communications to basically very contextually say, you said you were interested in outcome X. Companies like you tend to do this in the product. Do you want a tutorial and a walkthrough guide in the product itself? Which obviously then leads to product adoption increasing and all of that good stuff, which leads to retention and expansion and all of the things that we
and money. Yes, exactly. What everyone's in it for, I suppose, at the end of the day, right? Exactly. Awesome. And then my last question for you is, what is one fun fact about you that maybe not everybody knows, but you're okay with lots of people knowing after, obviously, my thousands of viewers watch this video?
Yes, absolutely. I think a few people know, especially in icebreakers that I've done in the past. But I play the bass for a heavy metal pickup band. So my face and my general demeanor doesn't suggest heavy metal by any means. And so are very surprised when that happens. And that's just that's my release outside of daily work and all the stuff that keeps us all busy. And that's my release for all my emotions. And that's where I get my joy.
That is awesome. I have to say, I in the conversations we have had, that was not what I was expecting you would tell me the fun fact was. And so my next question, my 3A, is definitely going to be, you're going to need to send us a link to some songs or something so we can hear what it's all about. So we'll look for that when we post. You what?
Yes, I said I play, but I didn't say I played well. That is a different qualifier. But I will.
That's all right. I think that's more than most people are doing is even playing. So your head's, I know, at least heads and tails above me. So Asvhin, thank you so much for being here. Viewers, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all soon. Bye, guys.